Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to the reading for the week of April 21st. You have this strength card and this receive card. I literally feel you could be receiving strength from something here with these two cards. So, like this card kind of represents receiving strength from your dream, or, it represents your dreams. You are receiving like messages or dreams or daydreams or, whatever. And so you could be receiving strength from your dreams, literally. And I feel that would be very good, and I would pay attention. You have the Four Swords, the Lovers, and the Devil showing up here. Some of you could be healing from a past toxic connection, or this could say, we have great love cards already here, Cancer, so you could be receiving love, and but it would be something new, right? And I think I said this to you in your last reading, Cancer, that you need to make sure that you are letting go of the fear of being left out in the cold. I really feel this is like a fear, and maybe it is justified, right? Like if you have been left out in the cold in your past like 3 relationships, then it's understandable that you have this fear, right? But at the same time, I feel that there could be someone really good coming in here for you. So I would, stay open to the possibility of something good, just plain and simple. You have the Four Swords. The Four Swords can represent resting, relaxing, recovering, healing. And again, with the Devil here, I would definitely say that healing would be a good idea for you, especially if you've been hurt recently in the past or just in the past in general. And those are the things that I would heal from. A lot of your readings this year have been talking about like you asking for something, but I do think we can speak out of both sides of our mouth, so to speak, right? Like we can say we want love, but then we can also be talking about the things that we don't want in love. So it's like we can ask for it, but also speak negatively about our experiences. And I kind of feel that's what you need to heal here. I feel like I'm always saying to you, like, you don't have the Eight of Wands in this reading, but I feel like I'm always saying to you that you have to aim in one direction. It's like if you want something, then your thoughts that dominate your brain need to be one direction. And I definitely get that energy here. And if they're not, that's fine. You just have to heal with the Four Swords. You have the Lovers. The Lovers, of course, can represent love coming in for you here. You have the Lovers next to the Two of Cups, which is really good. So there definitely could be a solid connection coming in for you. This is like divine counterparts. This is your higher self angel. So this could be like a divinely guided connection, or, it's like it could feel divinely guided. Like when you meet the person, it could have a different feeling to it. That's also popping into my head. So and it's definitely something I would pay attention to is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, looks pretty good to me. I also feel that some of you could be making a choice. You have the Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is like an inspiring new beginning, or you moving towards something you desire. And so there could be a choice coming in for you soon. We'll look more into that when we get to the Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Wands. You have the Devil. So again, the Devil really represents needing to set yourself free from the Devil. Those people have those chains that hang around their necks, and they come down to like here. And so they could easily really pull those chains off from around their neck, and they could move forward. So the Devil really says it's time to set yourself free from things that are toxic in general, but also from past situations that are toxic. It's time to remove those thoughts, and maybe it's time to like remove those worries from your brain, and that's what I would do here. With the Four Swords, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like time to get up, right? The Four Swords with the Seven of Pentacles basically says like, okay, you've gone through this period of healing. Now it's time to like get up and start moving forward. Seven of Pentacles is my card that says, is the juice worth the squeeze? He's looking at those pentacles and he's saying, is it worth it or not? And he needs to maybe change direction. It is a card of a change in direction. And so, if you've been resting, relaxing, and recovering, it could be time to do the opposite and move in a new direction. With the Lovers, here you go. You have the Ace of Wands. Yes, I feel like there will be a lot of attraction in this situation. Probably a lot of growth as well. I always say that the Ace of Wands is like the root going down into the soil. You plant a seed. The first thing that happens is the root goes into the soil. So it's like the very beginning beginnings of something that could potentially grow. Now, the thing about the Ace of Wands is we have to keep feeding it. So we have to make it grow. We can't get lazy. We can't, not do things to make it happen. And that's definitely popping into my head with this card. And sometimes I feel that aces just represent potential because, again, it's just like the root going into the soil. We have this crumbling castle in the background here, and it kind of represents out with the old in with the new. So that's pretty much what I was saying with the devil to that Five of Pentacles is like it's time to embrace the potential for something new, and that's what I would do there. With the devil, you have the Nine of Swords. Yes, like I said, I definitely felt like the devil is a fear because of that Five of Pentacles. Now, again, of course, pay attention. I always say, this looks like a good love reading to me, even though we have that Five of Pentacles, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I would still say it looks good, but pay attention, right? You do have the devil here. So if you meet a person and they're toxic. Avoid it, right? Plain and simple. But I feel like this is just... Nine of Swords is feeling like you're going to be stuck in something forever. And, it could be like you feel like everybody is toxic or you feel like you're just never going to find the one, right? And so I feel like that's what you have to let go of with this Nine of Swords energy is like that fear. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Gate card. It says opportunities and home on it. You also have this Ocean. It says distance and journey. Some of you could be traveling. It is a great time for vacation, of course. So, especially with that Four of Swords. If you need a break or a vacation, it might be a good time to do that for yourself. Could be a lot of opportunity. We have two aces. They're the same ace, but there's two of them, the Ace of Wands. And aces represent like solid opportunities coming in for you. So I would take advantage of any opportunity. You have the Justice card, the Two of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. Again, the Justice card is kind of what makes me feel good about this connection. And, I would say that justice could just be justice. If you're meeting a new person who is really solid, then you are kind of like getting justice from the universe. The thing about justice is all we have to do is pay attention to cause and effect. If you put energy in and you get energy out, then it's working. And if that's not the case, then leave. Plain and simple, right? If a person does things that are toxic, then the Justice card is saying they're toxic. Leave. Same thing. So really all we have to do with the Justice card is pay attention to the evidence. And as long as you're paying attention to the evidence, then things will be fine. The other thing about the Justice card is the Justice card is about being neutral as well. And I pretty much never say that on the Justice card, but it is popping into my head. Like if you're meeting a person right now, it might be a really good time for you to just say, I'm not going to look at this as the person I'm going to marry. I'm also not going to look at this person as the person that's super toxic. I'm just going to stay in the middle, and I'm going to look at the evidence. I'm not going to get too excited, but I'm also not going to disappoint myself, or, I'm also not going to think negatively. I'm just going to stay in the middle for now, right? Until you make a decision. So I definitely get that energy here on the Justice card. Same thing with something financial as well. So for those of you that don't want love, and even if you do, if you're thinking about making a financial change, like a new job or looking for something new, I think that kind of like taking that neutral perspective would be a good idea. You have the Two of Cups, perfect match coming in for you. I also feel, as always, this could be a person who's different than your usual type. Everybody gets the Two of Cups nowadays, and this has been going on since like 2022 or 2023, I can't remember. But, I think that all of us could be attracting people that are different. I do have like a weird message here popping into my head, Cancer, where it's like, you could be attracting a person where it kind of like changes the direction of your life. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I said this to you recently, where it seems to me like there's something that is going to change about your life, which is, is always true with love, but this is different. This is like, it's like, I don't know, like maybe you were thinking about starting a career and like, let's say you meet a person in the future, you get married and, maybe this person makes enough money where you don't need a career. It's like there's some sort of, I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying that's what it is, but, it's like something like that where, or like maybe you moved. Maybe you thought you would always live where you grew up. And, maybe this person would require you to move, or maybe you just would move with this person. So there's something like that is popping into my head. And I don't know, maybe that's a clue. Next, you have the Wheel of Fortune. We are kind of like in a lucky time, but it's a specific type of luck, I believe, where, I believe we create our own luck in the first place, but we have to put ourselves in positions to get lucky. It's one of those things where it's kind of like baseball, where eventually if you swing the bat hard enough times, you're going to get a home run, right? And I feel like that's the best way. I don't even watch baseball. I don't even care about baseball, but that's the best analogy that I can use. It's like people who take more chances right now are just simply going to get lucky. It's just that simple. So, yes, does that mean that there are going to be a lot of failures? Hell yes. But, I think also the home runs will make it worth it, right? And that's what I would say with the Wheel of Fortune, is that it's really about taking more chances. With the Justice card, here you go. You have the Lovers. So, like I said, perfectly balanced. It probably is a perfectly balanced person. And, I just don't think I have anything to add to that, Cancer, that we haven't already said. With the Two of Cups, what do you know? We have the Devil here, like a typical Cancer reading with all these repeating cards. Now, it could be a Capricorn, your opposite sign, that's coming in for you. It could be a person with like Capricorn in their chart or something as well. Or they could be like a Capricorn rising or a Capricorn moon or whatever. And so it could be just talking about Capricorn energy. This could also be, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This could also be like a black cloud that is hanging over your idea of relationships, which is kind of like how I feel about it. It's like, I kind of feel like some of you just are worried about relationships or, whatever the case may be. So, I would work on making sure that you're healing and letting those things go. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Five of Pentacles, which you have twice, typical Cancer reading here. So Five of Pentacles twice. This could say that you have to focus on your strengths. The Five of Pentacles is a card of focusing on your weaknesses. And I always say the fives in the tarot have very easy solutions. And the solution to the Five of Pentacles is to focus on your strengths, to focus on what you're good at. And that's pretty much what I would do with this Five of Pentacles. I would not focus on your weaknesses. Now, the other thing that's popping into my head that is interesting is you could be attracting a person, if this is love, which it kind of is basically a love reading. I mean, you have about 42 love cards showing up here. So, what I would say is you could be attracting a person who has been through something similar to you. And that can be bad, for sure, right? If two people who have like the same trauma get together, then they're both going to be worried about like the same things, and they're both going to be, that could cause a problem. And so the reason I'm telling you this is because guess what? You can correct this problem with your mouth. You can use your words and talk at this person and say like, why are you acting weird? And maybe you're acting weird too. And maybe they'll say you're acting weird too, and then you can talk it out. So a lot of relationship problems can be solved with the mouth, right? What are we doing? Oh, yeah. Messages from your future self. You have the Child in a letter. Literally could represent a message from a person. So if you're looking for love, you could be communicating with a new person here. This could also represent kind of like a little bit of an early message, like an immature message is what's popping into my head. Now, I feel like this is a good thing, where it's like you could be hearing news about like an opportunity with the Ace of Wands in this row, but it's just kind of like you're just hearing the whispers of something coming in. And, I think this should get you excited, and I also feel this should like motivate you to take action. Like, let's say you have an idea to do something in your life. It's like there could be like little clues that are coming in the form of messages that you're going in the right direction. So I would pay attention to communication from the universe through sign symbols, synchronicities, but also like other things as well that you see that are going on in the world, because the things that you see, that maybe you're noticing a trend or something is popping into my head here, like in work or business, I would pay attention to that because it might lead to like a big opportunity. But maybe I don't really think it's a challenge. I just think it's a whisper. So it's like sometimes we don't listen to those little whispers that happen, right? And so don't wait is what I'm saying. You have the Five of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. Again, when this happens, when I have a card down here and then the card shows up at the top, to me, the universe is zooming in on that part of the reading, or that card, if that makes sense. So I kind of feel that this is the universe is giving us more detail about the Five of Pentacles. So as I already said, Make sure to focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. I always say with the Five of Pentacles, even if there's only one good reason to do something, and there could be a million bad reasons, then that's enough, right? Or if there's only, if you can only think of one good thing based off of like what you're trying to accomplish, I would still do it with the Five of Pentacles, plain and simple. You have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups can be wish fulfillment. The Nine of Cups is about being in alignment with what you want. Really, I have found in life that if you're in alignment, you don't have to worry about anything. Period. Plain and simple. Because if you're in alignment with what you really want, then you will avoid things that you don't want, right? And if you're really in alignment with what you want in love, for example, then people who are in alignment speak up, right? When something isn't going right. They correct issues right away. They don't wait. That is true alignment. And you can come at this in a non-angry way, right? Like if someone isn't doing something in a relationship that you want, or they're doing something you don't like, you can just say like, hey, you know what? This not working. No hard feelings. Enjoy your life, right? So I think that is true alignment, where we speak up and stick up for ourselves, and I feel the Nine of Cups is encouraging you to do that. Nine of Cups is a wish, or wish fulfillment. Again, if you're attracting love, I feel like you asked for this. Four of Swords, right? You've asked for something, and this could be a wish coming true. It doesn't even have to be love. It could be anything that you're wishing for, and the universe is bringing it to you. And I feel the Five of Pentacles is basically saying, are you going to be brave enough to go for it? And I don't know. I don't know, Cancer. Are you? That is my question to you. You have the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is a passionate new beginning. So again, I think that there could be a passionate new beginning coming in for you. With that Five of Pentacles, it could be something that you're scared of. Not like a real big fear. I'm talking about like a little thing. So again, you could be, sometimes I do think we are scared of like what will truly cause growth in our life. And that's kind of the feeling I get in this row with the Ace of Wands. But I feel like the Ace of Wands is saying, go for it. Ace of Wands is something that you truly desire, so it'll be worth it. With the Five of Pentacles, yes, you have the Fool. Take a leap of faith. The Fool, I always say, is a card where he is taking a risk of looking foolish, right? So you could be taking a leap of faith towards a person, and you could be fearing that you're going to look foolish in the future. I think that's, that is a fear for a lot of people. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but, I think a lot of people sometimes they get hurt a bunch of times and they're like, I just don't know if I can, bring another boyfriend or girlfriend to meet my family, only to have them make me, look like I have egg all over my face when they cheat on me like 6 months later, right? So it's like, it is a fear. And, and it's a risk we always have to take in connections, where it's like, maybe you tell your friend, it's like you always tell, you ever be in one of those relationships where you tell all your friends, you're like, oh my God, this is my person. This is the person I'm going to marry. And then again, like a month later or something, they cheat on you or they leave you or whatever. It's like, that's the fear that is popping up in my head with that card. With the Nine of Cups, you have the Three of Swords. Yeah, a lot of heartbreak fear. We already know this in this reading. That the Three of Swords is about healing and getting into alignment with the Nine of Cups. So with the Three of Swords, we have to remove those swords from our own heart and to heal. And so it's about forgiveness. We don't have to forgive a person directly. We just have to forgive them in our heart. And that's what I would do with this Three of Swords. Again, this doesn't have to be love either, because I feel for some of you, based off this reading, that it's like there's some sort of risk that you want to take. Fool to the Five of Wands at the end here. It's like there's a leap of faith you want to take. Now, this could be in like business or work or, something else. And you could be fearing that things won't work, right, with that Fool card. And so, this could represent needing to heal your mindset, or needing to get to a healed place so you can be in alignment with success. And that's exactly what I would do with the Three of Swords. With the Ace of Wands, you have the Emperor. There you go. Definitely could be attracting like an Emperor type person, like a real bossed up person into your life with the Ace of Wands. Now, this could also be you bossing up. So again, and both could be true at the same time. You could be attracting a bossed up person, and with that Ace of Wands, you could be taking control with the Emperor on just a new beginning, because the Ace of Wands is just a passionate new beginning. And like I said, the Emperor is about like really taking control of those new beginnings. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this card. It says a time to give rather than take. And you have this card. You cannot make this up. You always get this card with me. It says, be bold, make the first move. I think you've had this card for like months. Literally. I could be wrong, but like every time I use this deck, I'm pretty sure you have this card. So clearly it's time for you to take that leap of faith. Again, I feel like this is the fear of looking like you have egg on your face. Like I said with that Fool card. The Fool, I'm telling you right now, a lot of times the Fool comes up when we're going to do something, or we're thinking about doing something that could make us look like a fool. So, again, I think this is saying make the move. And again, this doesn't even have to be love. This could be like a project that you're thinking about doing, or maybe you're thinking about, doing something that puts you in the public eye, like a YouTube channel, or maybe you want to publish your book or something like that. It's like that is when we feel the most fear, like right before we're about to do something. He is right on the edge. He is on the edge of doing something. And so I think you are on the edge here, Cancer. You have the Five of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Hangman. Five of Wands, of course, is a card of conflict and competition, but in the good stuff, it could say that you are standing out above the competition, or you are getting attention above the competition. So if there's like competition for a position at work, I always say when the Five of Wands comes up in the good stuff that you should probably go for it, take the risk. But it could be competition pretty much anywhere. You have the King of Wands. King of Wands is about being bold, being assertive, really going for what you want. So I think it would be a great time to be bold, be assertive, really make things happen. He's also like a little bit of a visionary in some ways. And so we don't necessarily consider him to be intuitive, but he kind of is. He can kind of see the future. And we were talking about these messages with these two cards here. So it is popping into my head that if you are getting signs that you should do something, trust those signs and like be bold and move towards whatever it is that you're thinking about. You have the Hangman. A lot of Hangman energy right now because we just came off all those retrogrades. Hangman makes a lot of sense because, with the Hangman, he is stuck in Hangman mode, but his head is glowing. So he's been on pause, and now he's gained the answers he needs, and he can move forward. So, I kind of feel it's saying you've gained the answers that you need. With the Five of Wands, we have two cards here. One flew out. You have the Nine of Wands and the Five of Swords. So as long as you have appropriate boundaries, I think you will be fine. The Nine of Wands, though, is a wounded warrior. And again, the whole reading basically says that you are thinking about going to battle again. Maybe not literally. It could be like the battle of love, right? Where you could be thinking about taking the risk of stepping into something again. And the Five of Swords in the good stuff represents a risk. So I think it's time to take some sort of risk. You also have 555 right here. You have 3 5s. And 3 5s is a big change, or 3 5s can represent making a change in some area of your life. With the King of Wands, you have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles, like stability. So a lot of you could be focused on creating more stability. I actually feel pretty good about this. I'm not the biggest fan of the Four of Pentacles, but number one, it's showing up in the good stuff. But even when it does show up in the good stuff, I kind of just it's just okay. But I feel pretty good about it. I feel you could be doing things to increase your financial stability, or you could be doing things to make more money. With the Hangman, you have the Knight of Wands. Yeah, what's life without risk? That is my question to you here, Cancer, at the end of the reading. It's like, what is life without risk? Four of Pentacles would be staying stuck in a comfort zone and never doing anything. But it's like, that's how people end up on their deathbed saying, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. So don't be one of those people. Knight of Wands says, take the risks. You have this carrot. It says opportunity or windfall. So love it. There could be a big opportunity coming in for you. I always say with this carrot card, it's like, with a carrot, you can only see the green stuff on the top. It's like you can't see the whole carrot. So, there could be more than meets the eye in something that you're attracting into your life. You have this grapes card. It says time to go out and have fun. Yes, I think everybody needs to have more fun right now. I mean, all the readings I've been doing like all month have basically said people need to get out of the house. They need to go do things that they enjoy. They need to have fun, all that other stuff. You have this Vine card. It says seek out information that will help you. Didn't we say that? We said something about you like needing to learn, or maybe I'm making that up, but I think that, it kind of makes sense with the Justice card being neutral. It's like, being neutral, you're just absorbing information and you're like weighing the options. And that's kind of what I feel here. It's like, instead of thinking of something like, oh, I have to, if I get into a relationship, I have to marry the person. Just being middle. being neutral and just saying, I will just see what happens. I think that would be such a better approach here. You have this broken ring card. It says parting of the ways, either in romance or business. I feel like you're finally putting the final nail in the coffin in something. Like, sure, some of you could be going through a breakup with that 3 of Swords, 9 of Swords, Devil, and everything like that. But I read intuitively, and the intuitive feeling I get here is that you've already gone through a breakup, or you've already gone through something. And, 3 of Swords is like that final healing with the 4 of Swords and all this other stuff coming up here. So that's really the feeling I get. You have this kite card that says vacation on it. Didn't you have another vacation card? I said something about vacation. So it might be a good time for you to like take a break, take a vacation, have fun, do something nice for yourself, Cancer. But pretty interesting reading. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.